Hello everyone, thank you so much for stopping in today with me, Helene, here at Cabin Fever Crochet. I am doing a quick little review on Hobby Lobby's Yarn Bee Tweed Indeed yarn that I purchased recently, and I showed that to you in my yarn tour. Link will be below if you haven't seen that already. This yarn is 46% acetate. And acetate is like bits and pieces of cotton and other fibers that are compiled together, and they go through a chemical processing that creates an actual fiber and then into the yarn. So 46% acetate, 46 cotton, 6% viscose, plant fiber pulp, and 2% polyester. And when I first saw the yarn and felt it, it's very, very smooth. However, the feel and the gauge reminded me very much of Hobby Lobby's I Love This Cotton, which I have used quite a bit. Get the exact same amount of yardage in a 3.5 ounce 100 gram skein. You get 180 yards. Except because it has the blend and is not all 100% cotton, it is a little more sleeker and smoother even though the I Love This Cotton is very soft and smooth and easy to work with. And if you're not in the United States, if you are familiar with the Universal Cotton Supreme yarn, which is also available here as well, the I Love This Cotton and this Tweed Indeed, they're all very, very similar. And I played around with this yarn in 4 different hook sizes. Recommended US 9, the 5.5 millimeter I crochet hook, all the way down. I did the I, H, G, and down to an F hook. All worked up very, very nicely. Each one gave good stitch definition, had decent amount of drape. Of course, the largest hook was going to give the most open and lacy effect, and I think if you wanted even more open, you could go up maybe one more hook size from that, depending on your type of stitch. I do like the tweed effects within each very much, and when worked up, they're very subtle, and they're kind of there, but not overpowering, so it just adds a little bit of texture and visual dimension. And because you have the little flecks, and particularly in this olive green, which has a multi-flex in it, different colors, it gives you visually again the more of the highs and lows of color within that. So I got the pumpkin, the golden tweed, and the olive tweed. And so my original intent for buying these was to make mini pumpkins for a tutorial coming up next. And what I love is that it is more of a matte finish with just a hint of a sheen. So for making up something that is more earthy or natural, and you don't want a high sheen, and you more of that natural look and feel, this is great for that. However, in my opinion, working up, I think this would be best for a lighter weight, going into warmer weather type of projects, or if you know, you live where it doesn't get that cold in the winter, then this might be a really good option, say for a hat or a lightweight type of cowl. So I worked up, this was the beginning of the stitch that we're going to be doing for the pumpkins. And what I want to show you here and why I'm bringing them out, and I did a few different pumpkins and one and a couple of other yarns just to see how they would compare to each other. And what I found with this, even in all of the different sizes of hooks that I used, no matter what, and I have this envelope, this white paper behind it, so you can see that there is still light. Hopefully you can see that light coming through. So that is going to lend to a more airy open project. So if you're using this, say for pumpkins, such as I have, I'm going to bring one out here. This doesn't like loft up a lot as say an acrylic where you have more of that halo, which will help fill in these spaces, the openness. So if you want to use this for something like I did, say a pumpkin, and you are going to stuff it, you can see the stuffing through that, and I'm going to get into those differences when I do the actual tutorial. I just kind of wanted to give you a heads up on that, unless you go down even more and go really, really tight, maybe even another hook size or two beyond that. And I think that you can certainly do that with this yarn, but going down too tight is just too hard on my hands, and I don't want to aggravate them, so I didn't do that. But working with the F hook, which is I think a 3.75 millimeter, I had no issue whatsoever. The yarn still glided on the hook through my hands, and it wasn't taxing on them either. So if I were to go down to say maybe an E or a D, you could do that with this yarn, but it still has quite a bit of stretch to it. You can see that a stretch with that. And also it just frogs, it comes out woohoo, zip, 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 very, very easily, smoothly. I did not have any issues with splitting. If the yarn kind of got tangled just because of the pile that I had, it came out easily by picking it and didn't fuzz out or mess up the yarn. And as mentioned in my show and tell, the one where I showed you the yarn that I actually did purchase, I mentioned, and I will again, that now that I've worked with all three of them had a really easy to find, very nice smooth center pull where just enough yarn came out, not half the skein with it, as sometimes they come out with just this gigantic hunk of it. So that was real nice. And then one of them even had the little center pull already poking out. I haven't worked with a whole ton of it because pumpkins don't take much yarn, but so far no flaws, knots, issues, or anything at all with this yarn. And it is made in Turkey, and the retail is $5.99 each. I think that would make a wonderful spring, summer, even going into fall, like a top or an overlay type of sweater, and other things that I have mentioned. Okay, well that's it for this review. I hope this was helpful, and please remember to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and keep those wonderful comments coming. All right, take care everyone, and I will see you soon.